Welcome back to Switch to Linux. This is Tom, Indy Kitty. And today we're going to have a look at some comments. I saw this on another channel earlier this week, just somebody responding to comments, and I thought it was a really cool idea. So I thought we'd go ahead and give it a try and see what people think of that. And so I was going to also talk about Ubuntu a little bit today, but I decided not to because where I did my Ubuntu Budgie install, and I'm wondering if that was super buggy or not. I tried Solace, that simply wouldn't install. And then I decided to go back and do a positive control test again, go with Manjaro, which installs, but the update seems to break it. And so I'm not sure if that's something that Manjaro has done recently, or if it's something I need to dig into. And so I ran out of time at testing if the drive is good by installing Linux Mint, because it works. And so I'm going to hold off on lambasting Ubuntu until I either get a test going with Linux Mint, verify everything's correct on the drives, or maybe just buy some new drives. Because, you know, it occurred to me, I mean, my drives that I have that I install these Linux distros on, they've probably seen about 30 to 50 distros on them each. And so it would not be too surprising if they're starting to die or go down or go like, oh, another Linux distro, no. And so I'm going to hold off until we lambaste Ubuntu too much. But there is still going to be some discussion about Ubuntu inside the comments as well. So that's kind of what we're going to be looking at here. So greetings to everybody. So TSM First On is kind of a noob to the Linux community. Well, greetings. And Isaiah, how's it going there? So he's on Linux Lite and Mint Mate, which is pretty sweet. All right, who else do we have? Musical Neptunian. It's dead, Jim. What's dead? What's dead? What's dead, kitty? What's dead? Let's see. I'm a doctor, not a PC tech. Okay, there you go. Keegan, greetings there. And I forget all of my fun pronunciations. It's something like Calroprora, I think. I just don't remember the exact pronunciation of that Greek word you're giving me there. Let me know if that's close. Ryan, greetings, and XP, the PC nerd, greetings, and Linux user, hello there. And Kitty is ready. So yes, the cats are indoor cats only. I used to live on a busy road, and that would just make me have a really bad day if I came home to scrape off a dead cat off the busy road. So I've always had the cats being indoor cats. The last apartment I had, I actually was a high up, and I had a balcony, and so they used to like going out on the balcony. But that is that. What microphone am I using? I'm using the Samson Meteorite. There it is. Pretty good mic. I like it overall. Let's see. Beginners to Linux. I'm starting to use okay, so Noah, keep an eye out for Noah's channel there. We'll be doing some beginning Linux newbies there. So let's see, we got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we head into the -1. Yeah, we were 30 seconds late to start. Mitchell, greetings there. Jason K, hello there. Carbon Programmer, greetings. And Carbon Programmer, I will be doing one of the interesting things about the Chinese culture for the tinfoil hat time this week. I am leaning towards that cashless society stuff because that's just creepy. So I think my schedule's back to normal now, so I should be able to do the tinfoil hat time on Saturday. I will be doing a stream on the Christian channel tomorrow, teaching about baptism and stuff. So if you are unaware, I do streams 9 o'clock Eastern time. Thursdays is when I try and do the Christian streams. And that is at Our Walk in Christ. Ask me and I'll put a link in there. It's also on my Linux page, homepage there. XP drags Windows taskbar to the left hand side of Ubuntu. All right. LJ, greetings. Where'd you go? And Stefan, hello there. Are some of your viewers beginners? If so, tell me I'm going to be uploading February. Yes, some of the guys are beginners. Debbie and Budgie. I don't know. I know Budgie is one you should be able to install several places. We had a couple small conflicts with Linux Mint. I think what I'd like to do is see if I can't get that working. Get Linux Mint Budgie working. That'd be kind of cool. There's a few other little things you need to install to make it work, so I want to give that a try. Okay, so Kitsun is trying a Ubuntu Budgie 16.04. We're going to talk more about that in a few minutes as we get into some of the comments from the video I did last night. Or was that early this morning? It was like 4 a.m. by the time I wrapped up my office. So. Nutrix OS. Write that down. Nutrix OS. I'll write that down and look for it. Manjaro XFCE there. All right. Jason, have you had the problem recently on Manjaro where it's trying to install Python 2 Nautilus on top of items that need a dependency of Python 1 Nautilus? I unchecked that, update the system, and that seems to wipe out the system. It kind of kills the kernel somehow. So all sorts of weird stuff starting to happen with that. And I don't know, it's kind of interesting there. And he's a Solus user there. World of Linux, greetings, KO2610, hello there. Unity look more elegant than GNOME. Absolutely, I agree. I don't like GNOME at the best of times. I really wish that Ubuntu just kind of stuck with Unity because it was distinct. It was its own distinct thing. But now, I mean, part of that press release they did last April was to divert people off of the desktop and off of the desktop computer entirely, meaning the desktop Ubuntu distro and the desktop environment Unity, to focus on the server and the cloud stuff, which admittedly is still very good. But I think that it hurt their desktops, and that I think will hurt them more down the road, is my guess. Jonathan, greetings, and hello, M. Lamarck, yes, greetings there. I was trying to watch live streams, do more at 7, perfect time. Yeah, I schedule them throughout different times simply because there's different people that want to catch them. So some people can catch them if I do them late. Some people can catch them if I do them early. So I do my Saturdays at 5, ideally, my Wednesdays at 7, and my Thursdays and Fridays at 9. Of course, Thursday is on the Christian channel. Friday is here for the news. And it is going to be a crazy week in the news. I've already identified like 30 articles, and I got to cut some of them out. But man, we got some weird stuff going on. William, greetings there. Jamie has used Linux Deepin for like 5 years maybe. Okay, I want to find like an Ubuntu or something with the Deepin desktop. I'd like to do that. Who uses Debian? I usually have Debian back on this other computer. I'm running Linux Mint on it right now, but Kitty is super cute. Yes, he is. Yeah, I'm super cute. He's super cute. Wait until the end of the stream there when he gets to eat some Temptations. Then he'll be super duper cute. Linux by itself for longer. I can't stand Windows. Yep, I can't stand it either. I use MX on the laptop. Yeah, my Lenovo S21e runs Peppermint, which I absolutely love. That thing runs Peppermint as good as any other computer runs anything else. You wouldn't know that thing's a tiny processor with 2 gigs of RAM. It just runs so nicely on it. I've never had a successful run with a non-LTS Ubuntu. I'm thinking that's the thing. In fact, when I just rebuilt my backup system the other day, which I use Ubuntu Mate for that, and I intentionally went with the LTS. I'm running 1604.3, I think it is now. I don't have any problems on that one. That's no problems there, but every other Ubuntu, 1610, 1704, 1710, problems. I pretty much stopped using Ubuntu because of it. I mean, for comparison, when 1604 was still in the pre-alpha, it was more stable than the most recent stable development releases now. I mean, I don't know what they're doing over there, but it's causing some issues over in my neck of the woods. Yummy Yucky Senpai, greetings. Let me know if I got that right. Is the Chinese culture section? I have no idea. Right. Yeah, I found them to be very buggy. In fact, I should probably go back and see if I can do a 1604 Ubuntu Budgie. I bet that might actually work. It's the 1710. It's just, I was trying to get the thing set up today. I could not copy and paste. About every 20 seconds, the system would freeze for 45 seconds. It was the most annoying thing ever. So I just dropped it and went back to Debian for most of my day. And then I'm back onto Mint now. You ever use a distro based on Ubuntu that uses Pac-Man? No. That seems interesting though. Siphonix, greetings. Daniel, greetings. Oh boy. Amazon new store is having problems. You can walk out with free stuff. Hopefully this kills the concept. Cool. I'll look into that a little bit more. And here, tired of Manjaro. Tried. I thought you said tired. Tired of what? Greetings, Analog. Analog, are you on Manjaro? Why can I not update? I just downloaded Manjaro Budgie, trying to run updates. You install it, you load the thing up, you try and run updates, and there's Python conflicts. Can't install it at all. The problem is it's trying to install Python 2 Nautilus when there's a couple applications with Python Python 1 Nautilus, like Python Nautilus requires, and so it causes issues and cannot update anything. And I did a workaround to try and do that, and every single time I run that workaround, the system won't boot anymore. So I need to look into a little bit more, but if you are from Manjaro, let me know what's going on, and I mean, it is the most recent. I can show you which ISO I have, too. Lattice, greetings, you're from Zoran. Think about Ubuntu kernel team in terms of recent BIOS bricks. I haven't looked into it a whole ton because, as I said, I've been avoiding Ubuntu. I'm wondering, in fact, I mean, because the computer I'm using back here, my backup computer, is actually a Lenovo. Now, it's not a laptop, and that was it was the Lenovo laptops that were causing problems. But I thought that Ubuntu responded to it a whole lot better than Lenovo did. Absolutely. I think that it gave credit to the team and that they identified the problem. They pulled the ISO off for a while. They put up warnings and were the only ones trying to do anything about it. Lenovo's like, oh, it shows you're stuck with Windows. Derp. And so kind of made me not like a Lenovo a little bit, but... GNOME won't remove the desktop icons anymore due to the claims. Huh. Interesting. Currently using Ubuntu with new GNOME desktop and the so-called Unity bar crash. I have to go inside the activities. Yeah. You can't add a lot of the extensions with the new Ubuntu. They will actually break the system, which is kind of scary. Using Sparky Linux Cinnamon. Cool. Negan now, I guess. And Jan Lopez, greetings. Heard about the autopilot Tesla news. I didn't hear about that one. Like, I heard there was a guy that was trying to claim that autopilot was on, so he shouldn't get his DUI. But the Chevy Bolt, though, the fully automated Chevy Bolt self-driving car ran a biker over. We'll cover that tomorrow under scary tech. All right, let's go ahead and jump on over to some website comments. Let's see what people have been leaving me on my comment stream. Some of these I've responded to, some have not. So XP, the PC nerd, says Linux Mint Budgie when. Yeah, so you can actually install Budgie on top of Linux Mint, but it doesn't, there's a lot of functionality that doesn't work. I think we need to install Nautilus. So that's what I might do. If I can successfully get Linux Mint working on one of my ISO or one of my little thumb drives, then I'm going to try and play with it. See if I can get Budgie working on that. Really, that's what I wanted to play with again, is I wanted another Budgie desktop over here, but oh well, that's not working. So yeah. So yeah, it's it'll be kind of cool to see if they come out with it, but I want to experiment with trying getting that out there. Anyone use Budgie? Also have the option for GNOME on Xorg at login. Just noticed this today. I have not noticed that. Let's see. Some of these comments are really fascinating. That's actually why I wanted to do this. I'm just going to cruise down till I get them. Have I tried Kubuntu? I have not ran Kubuntu on my system. It was, I mean, I've tested it. I've done a couple videos on it, but I've not actually run it. That might be one I switch to when poor Linux Mint KDE goes away. Poor Linux Mint KDE. I love my Linux Mint KDE. Oh, we'll probably go back to Kubuntu. And he says, also says, and Ubuntu is far from dead. If I want a more guaranteed stability, 1604 is the way to go. I absolutely agree. 1604 Ubuntu seems to work great. It's when you're getting into these newer ones, and I don't think it has to do with GNOME, because, I mean, they've just always been kind of crazy busy. Just buggy, crazy buggy. But yeah, I mean, 1710... I had problems there. 1704, I had problems. Even 1610, I had problems. And so it'll be curious to see what 1804 does. And who knows, maybe I need to get, download that and play with that for a little bit, see how 1804 happens to look. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, so it's kind of a discussion point, but maybe we need to have the discussions on the next LTS release of 1804. So thank you for that comment, Yucky Senpai. And again, let me know if I'm saying that right. So he's using 1710, very stable. Okay. Interesting. All right. If you want a decent Windows experience, recommend Windows 8.1 because you can disable updates if you want. You can replace the modern UI with a classic start menu via classic shell. Windows 10 privacy is collection OS. Yes, absolutely. System 64. And actually, this computer, when it's not running Linux, does have a Windows 8 install on it. I actually just use it as a file backup in reality. But yeah, I mean, I hate the UI in Windows 8. It makes sense on a touchpad. I run Windows 8.1 on my Surface where I do some of my writing on. And it makes perfect sense on a touchpad Surface, tablet PC hybrid. But as far as actually on a desktop computer, it's the most useless desktop environment ever in Windows 8.1. But essentially it's just Windows 7 with a horrible UI. So I can deal with it. I don't have any real problems with it. But I just won't do with 10. Robert is here for the cat. Meow. All right. Is it Gail L. Cavador? I apologize if I spelled names wrong here. Ubuntu Buggy lives up to its name, at least the 17. Sometimes versions give me a headache too. Mate is the only Ubuntu flavor which currently works. I don't know. So apparently Kubuntu works very well. I know I have a few problems with my Ubuntu or Lubuntu. I don't know how that's pronounced officially. I have a few problems with that one. And I have classically loved Ubuntu. I mean, I've liked Ubuntu. It was my first one into Linux. I like the Unity desktop. Unfortunately, that's gone now. And so, yeah. So Brennan Brown, currently using Ubuntu Budgie 17.10. The only issue I had was ironed out after the first round of updates. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't do anything on it at all. Now, again, I suspect maybe my drives are starting to die. These things have had several dozen Linux distros on them, so I'm not beyond the scope of that, and that's actually why we're not lambasting it yet. All right, Boshongo Ada, I'm a novice. Subscribe to learn more about Linux and how to use. I'm having difficulty understanding why you always need to install Linux. Yes, and a bunch of us have answered that question. But yes, the main production computer. So I do these videos on Linux Mint Cinnamon, and I don't touch it. My main work laptop is a Linux Mint Cinnamon. My main, my Linux writing laptop is a Linux Mint Peppermint. Then I have a variety of other Linux distros here and there. But this computer that's behind me runs a variety of Linux distros simply so I can test them, get experience on them, and see how things work. So that thing itself has seen so many desktop environments, it's not even funny. Tom gets sick and tired of Ubuntu and becomes a gecko. Well, I can save you 15% off your next Windows computer. The cat just like looking at me in a most classic style. The cat's like, what are you talking about? Like, look at this cat. He's like, what are you talking about? You and your geckos. All right, let's see. Might be Bungie specific issue. Not experienced other 1710 flavors. Kubuntu, Mate, and Xubuntu all fine. On 100% Intel platform at least. Okay. Which distro does the chest-rubbing kitty prefer? Puppy Linux. Okay, Surge, you might try an Arch-based distro. It installs quickly and add the apps that you want. Yes, and that's actually reason I was going to reinstall Manjaro as a test, but I was having problems with the updates on Manjaro. So, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Let's see, if your system is broken, reinstall it and reinstall all your apps, less than 30 minutes. This will take less time to try and figure out how to fix the issue. And that it does. That's the beauty of Linux. And I even have in my NAS, I actually have a folder, it's called Mobile Home, which is because this system has so many different things. All of the settings for all the apps that I need are inside that thing. I call it mobile home. I just copy the stuff directly into the home directory, whatever distro I have, boot the thing on, and it's back to normal. I mean, that's the way to do it. And that's the thing with Linux, you know. If the system breaks, you just save your home folder, reinstall something else, and throw it over there, and you might have a couple little things if you're coming from a completely different system, but that's the case there. Let's see. Better off using the LTS version of Ubuntu flavors, less buggy. I think we talked about that one already, and absolutely, I agree with that. This guy, 13DCR. Are you on 13DCR? He was mad at me because I wasn't clarifying which one I was using. Yes, I was using 1710, and that was probably the case. So 1704, give me a headache. Sometimes 1710, much better. Looking forward to 18. So yeah, and I need to go and download. I don't know if it's on. It's probably it's midway through January, so we should actually have an either an alpha at least or a beta, maybe even a beta release candidate. I haven't followed the Ubuntu news this year, so I don't know. So we'll see what happens. Linux musician, he's running a standard Ubuntu for some reason. It's the only distro been stable on the system. It sucks. Hate the interface. See, when I built out co-host computer, was it last week, 2 weeks ago? I forget. I think it was last week, and we could not get Ubuntu Studio working. It's an Acer A8 computer, 6 gigs of RAM. Actually, it's essentially the same thing as this desktop computer. We could not get Ubuntu Studio working on it. We eventually just wiped everything and just went to Linux Mint because it worked. And that's kind of what we did. All right, so now we're kind of getting into this video here was controversial. The 5 reasons I stay exclusive to YouTube for now. This one caused some back and forth. Sorry about that. My mic redlined on me. So this one caused a little bit of back and forth here. Let's see. So Brian, the computer geek, just reprogram the system whenever I go to Amazon. Always use the Amazon affiliate link. Well, thank you, Brian, the computer geek. That is awesome. Use Metacafe and Vimeo are also good. So again, this is funny because I did this video specifically because people kept on recommending other platforms. So I did this video to indicate why I'm not moving to other platforms at this time. And I'm still getting a lot of recommendations for other platforms. I'm aware that there's a lot of various platforms, and some things are good and some things are bad about them. And so the thing is that I have a very specific time for very specific reasons I'm going to start diversifying into other platforms. The time is not yet. And some people had a big issue with that. And in fact, the one comment I want to get into down here, actually, I didn't even really respond to it yet, simply because I wanted to do this. I just got to find it. Hopefully, I didn't delete it. And yeah, actually, it looks like Serge didn't care for this video much either. We'll come back up to some of these if we need to as well. There's one comment in particular. It was huge. I think this was it. Okay, yep, this guy here. So Josh Smith unsubbed. Broke my heart, man. Broke my heart. Just kitty. No, your temptation budget's going to get cut down because of the unsubs. So basically, he's all about the money, regardless of how crappy YouTube has become. There, saved you 12 minutes. Maybe the community if the community quit focusing on profits only, then the platform would be better off. Early YouTube was basically a place where people shared their ideas and showed you how to do various things without profit in mind. Anytime value gets placed on something, it makes it harder to place trust in it, as we all know people do and say anything to make a buck these days. I'm tired of hearing all these YouTube creators crying about money. If anything, YouTube has done a good thing by exposing these scammers, as they're the loudest ones crying about the money. It basically shows these types of creators see their viewers as basically revenue and nothing else. If you want consistent money, then get a real job like the rest of us. And if not, then be happy with what you get and quit crying. Unsubbed. Bye, Josh. Also, what the heck does this video have to do with Linux? You know, you have to get focused, man, instead of making clickbaity videos. Sorry, you're not a good businessman. My opinion, of course. You see, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Mr. Joshua Smith. I have not had a job for over a decade. Guess why? Because I'm a good businessman. I have run my own business. Actually, it's not quite a decade. I think 2010, I went full-time in my own web design business. I have relied on no job since that time because I'm good at business. Okay, and so let's break this down. First and foremost is, yes, when people first got onto this platform, it was just to do videos and there was really nothing to do. But here's the thing. YouTube has evolved into a business. And if I lived in my parents' basement, I could probably do this and not worry about it. But the reality is, Josh, I have bills to pay. I have poor little kitties that need to eat. I need to fill up their little bellies with kitty food and temptations. All right, I have car insurance that needs to be paid, and health insurance that needs to be paid, and I need to pay for gas and internet and the various things that I do. And the reality is, YouTube is a business. And sure, someone can get onto YouTube and be doing it without caring and won't ever turn on any monetization or anything else. But the reality is, this is a business for a lot of people, myself included. So, and I'm not crying. In fact, in fact, through an argument I got about this. Why do I still bring it up then? Very simple. Because as we bring it up, it raises the issues. Let's see. What else did he say? That's about it. Oh, what does the video have to do with Linux? You know what? Just because my channel has Linux and my core principle is about Linux does not mean that every single video that I do actually has to do with Linux. Sometimes it's fun. In fact, my most popular videos for live streaming is the news. I mean, I'm close to pushing 100 simultaneous viewers. Right now we have we've peaked at 64 and we have 62 current viewers on this right now. And you know what? Because people like this. We're talking about Linux. We're talking about comments. We're talking about business. Because I don't just sit up here, and there's channels, I can point you to them, that only talk about Linux in a very boring way. And they don't have a lot of growth, and they don't have a lot of following, and they don't have a lot of anything, and they're not significant to the community. I don't want to be that. I want to be a diverse place where people can learn how to integrate. Why did I even switch to Linux, people? It's because Windows 10 started getting crazy and I still had a job to do and I was not about to roll over and play dead and just hand all my private data to Microsoft. So I decided to switch to Linux, and the entire dedication of this channel is to figure out how we can be people doing real business in a real world in a real way using a Linux systems and free and open source software. That is why I do the channel. And it's not all about Linux. There's a lot about business. Because let me tell you something. If you wanted to do the thing I just did for a client last week, we had a mailing list of 369 health stores, health food stores for a company I work with in California. And they asked me if, hey, you know, take a little break from web design work. Would you mind doing some marketing? Sure, no problem. I had a mailing list of 369 people, so I had to print out 369 letters, stuff them in envelopes, get them all mailed out. Well, guess what? If I wanted to purchase the application for that, let's just go ahead and look this up. Microsoft database. What is the? I think it's Microsoft Access, isn't it? It's called Microsoft Access. Microsoft Access is probably the tool that I would need to use. Let's see how much Microsoft Access actually runs for. All right, buy now. I can usually, since I'm a small sole proprietor, I can usually get away with this. Okay, so this one here, the 70 per year, I could actually get access. That's actually new. That did not used to be part of that. I think that was added in new. You know, but I just saved myself a whole lot of money by using LibreOffice-based program to create a marketing letter, create a mail merge list, to push out my letters. So the letters got printed, and then I folded them nicely, put them into a double-windowed envelope, so we didn't have to print out labels. We didn't have to print out, you know, return labels or address labels. Did everything directly through there on LibreOffice on free and open source software without having to go and pay Microsoft a bunch of money to use a mail merge application. Okay, that's the power of what I did. I am trying to solve real world applications. I don't care about the ins and outs. And that's why I don't know what this version of or that version of what. I know very little more than the surface about the difference between Wayland and Xorg. I mean, I'm exaggerating that a little bit, but the reality is I'm interested in real world applications for Linux and free and open source software. I'm not interested in being the same regular geeky Linux guy out there who is a great guy, and I love them all too, and they're great and I love watching their channels. But my channel is a niche channel. I'm not just about Linux. And that, I think, is why a lot of people are over here. And since I've been rambling about this, we've just gone up to 68 people currently watching, and 69 is what our peak is. So that was the one comment that I really wanted to respond to. So I'll just write, bye. All right. So let's see, where was I here? Let's jump over and have a look at live comments for a bit now. All right, hey, I saw Pizza jump on. I'm so far behind on comments. I will never get through all these comments. Crypto, greetings. Learn how to use i3, but I'm too lazy. Yeah, that's the reason I don't use i3. I don't have time. Kathy, greetings. Tesla rear-ended a fire truck on autopilot. Whoops. Well, hey, at least it hit a car, because the Chevy Bolt just ran over a biker. Like a bicyclist. This week. So, oh, it'll be fun. It'll be really fun. I'm gonna have to look that up though. We're gonna have an entire section on the news on Friday dedicated to all this automated technology seeking to kill us. Manjaro had sudo pacman rs nautilus admin, then reinstall it again. I did not find that in the forums, but yes, thank you, Brennan. In fact, where's my phone? Do I have a phone handy? That's too far away. I'll have to remember that. Loves use of social connections, gain advantage. Okay, out of context, bought a cheap 32 gigabyte SSD. Started installing 30 minutes ago. Linux Lite laptop. Nice. Also, what even is Geary Mail and what is so bad with it? Okay, so Geary is a lightweight mail application that only supports the IMAP protocol. It is very lightweight and very featureless. I mean, it's got no features. I mean, it's what's so horrible at it. Now, I have about 25 emails, and several of them are a variety of different business emails that I need to feed into one inbox. And so on Evolution, which is the primary Linux email client that I use, on Evolution, I have all the folders and all the filters and all the rules, and all these emails drop into it, and then guess what I do? I take the Evolution configuration file, set that in my mobile home directory, and then anytime I have a new computer, I grab that, click the button, and boom, it auto-populates all my email addresses. The only thing I have to do is one time I have to go in and re-enter all the passwords again. And I do all that with POP3 so that A, I can delete messages as they're not needed, but B, I can distribute them to all of the computers. We really got spoiled rotten. It's the same problem. We have the same problem with email that we have with documents. And you young people growing up in schools where you have to do everything on Google Docs or on Office 365 or whatever Microsoft's doing for their school systems, they are destroying your ability to know how to manage your own digital property. And it is destructive because you need to learn how to manage your own digital property. You need to learn how to save a copy of your own documents for your own use and make backups of that. And we need to do the same thing with email. We got so spoiled with IMAP, with all these webmail applications. But here's the thing for you is if their server has a major hiccup and you lose all your emails, sorry. That's the problem. They might have backups in place, but it's not for your benefit. It's for theirs. And so we need to get back to using email appropriately. There's times to use an IMAP, but there's a lot of times to use a POP3. And Gary just starts, or whatever it is, just the Gary email application just starts to chip away. It's doing the same thing that Google Docs and Office 365 and modern computing is doing, is it's destroying our ability to actually logically and functionally use a computer for personal computing use without disputing everything up to the cloud. That's kind of what the difference is. TSM, don't you want more storage than 32? Actually, my Lenovo dual boots Windows 10 and Peppermint on a 32 gigabyte hard drive, and I got room to spare, man. I never actually booted into Windows 10. I should just kill that thing, but Hey, someone claimed crash into a parked fire truck at 65. Autopilot. Yay. Yeah, and these car companies are paying politicians to get these cars on the road faster. I'm excited. Windows 8 file backup. Hope you don't mind losing those files. I never had a problem with that. It's just a redundant file storage for other things. I have so much redundancy in my file storage that like my entire backup computer completely died. And it's like, what do you do? Well, restore it from a redundant copy. Okay, that's what I did. Crypto, my question, does Linux is for use or just try this and that distro and pass time? Why don't we have one stable version? Okay, Crypto, what's going on is computers are always updating. And this is the whole thing with like Windows 10, you know, constantly updating. And Linux distros will either be a long-time release like Ubuntu 16.04 branch and the 18.04 branch, which is coming out. These are called your long-term stable or LTS. And these are designed for more long-term stable computer usage. Now, other guys, like a lot of the guys that run the Arch, this is more of a rolling system. It updates a lot faster. To use Arch, you really got to be aware that every now and again it's going to break something. And you need to realize that. And so really the reality is I have very good stable systems that I don't tinker with at all. And you see me always doing all the videos. That's on this media PC that all I do over here is watch videos and listen to music. All this thing gets used for. And so I rotate the distros to try them out. But as far as does it have solid distros? Absolutely. OpenSUSE has the Tumbleweed, which is the rolling, and it has the, no, which one's which? One's Leap, one's Tumbleweed. I think Leap is the long-term, and Tumbleweed is the rolling release, I believe. And so that has those branches as well. Does Fedora have one as well? I don't remember. But yeah, there are a lot of distros. The thing is that there's always security updates to install. And then there's also a lot of packages that will update. So for example, if you're on Linux Mint 17.3, which is where I started on Linux Mint, the Kdenlive application was broken. So you want to add roll up to the next version to get the next Kdenlive, for example. Debian keeps their software packages back, so you have a deep amount of stability using Debian. A security update in Debian is not going to break your main system. Just if you upgrade the main distro, then you'll get the major software updates. And so there's a balance between, do you want the absolute latest, which is an option, or do you want to stay back into something that's stable and you know that works, which is an option. I always, on my production computers, I stay back in the LTSs because I need those computers working when I'm ready to work. And so that's kind of what that difference is. So yes, there are lots of stable versions of Linux out there. Analog using Manjaro 17.1.2 XFCE. Have not had any problems updating. What I've seen is the same if nothing has gone wrong yet. Okay. There is a mod. Yes, Isaiah Briggs, you are a moderator. I don't see us getting attacked by 4chaners yet, but I haven't gotten to the bottom of the comments yet either. So, Jason K, Dell laptop slot in the slide. Oh, nice! You have a Dell laptop which you can slide in the SD hard drives. That's awesome. You ever worked or chatted with any Linux users who are blind/visually impaired before recently? I have not. No. I'll tell you that a friend of mine has a company called Haptically Speaking. He is he's a professor, and one of the things that he does is builds tactile maps for blind people. And his son, who is one of the officers in his company, runs a lot of Linux. So they might do more Linuxy stuff in their operation as an operation specifically geared towards blind. That's the only people I can think of that might. What do you think about the new smart speakers like Alexa? I think they're creepy. Jonathan, I think that they are horrible. Yeah, I do not need a perpetually listening creature that's going to take all my data and text submit it to the cloud and store it perpetually so it can make better decisions about how I live so the thing can learn what it takes to take me out one day. Man, when Skynet takes over, these things are going to be taking those things over first. We're like, all right, let's just take all these guys out with the things that will weaken them the most. How to take software icon on desktop screen. It's not going at all. How to take a software icon, like how to make it on a desktop. On Linux Mint Cinnamon. Let's see. Okay, so on Linux Mint Cinnamon, actually, you can just come up and find what you want. Let's go with LibreOffice Writer. Right-click, add to desktop, and that should give you a desktop writer icon right there. So that's actually how you would do it on Linux Mint Cinnamon. And I hate those on my icon on my desktop, so I'm going to get rid of that. But all right. I prefer either Ubuntu Mate or Ubuntu GNOME due to the accessibility on Orca Screen Reader. Okay, cool. Yeah, I would say that GNOME, maybe KDE might also have some of those newer functions, being in more modern systems. Are you still running Debian? If so, how's it been? Yeah, I do run Debian when this computer behind me is not running Linux Mint. It does run Debian. Yeah, I mean, that's no problems. In fact, it's the only Linux computer. No, I have two Linux computers right now that actually work well on Skype. This one does not. The Linux Mint behind me does not. For whatever reason, what happens is when you're on a Skype call is it starts to cut out and causes some problems. Didn't get notified. Bummer, man. Well, glad you're here now. Who likes Windows? Not me. I dislike it. Doesn't have a dock. Can't live without it. Or easy workspace. Yeah. I'm poor. Amazon 30 bucks SSDs flying while installing updates. Nice. Just make sure you have good backups because unfortunately I still have here the SSD that this computer was running on. One day just kaput. Decided not to work anymore. So fortunately I had backups. I didn't miss a beat. I actually redeployed all the home folders across my Debian computer and ran all my video production over there until I got the new hard drive in. Archman, I try to prefer my Antergos Deepin. Antergos has Deepin. I was looking for a Linux distro that runs Deepin so I didn't have to install Deepin. Antergos, I forgot about that one. I'll have to look into that. Good evening, Spider Eyes. Domination Tube. Hello, Total OS Today. Testing Ubuntu 18.04 looks solid. Sweet. I will have to, yeah, I'll have to get over there. And I think I'm done with the 17 branches. It tells me like there might be some fire on the stream. I should have got on fire earlier, but yeah, I didn't. Greetings, Pizza Lovin' Nerd. Ubuntu is dead. Pizza Loving Nerd says Ubuntu is dead. Issues bring tissues. Tears, not fears. It'll be worked out. Greetings, Pseudo Linux. Yeah, everyone wanted me to go on fire back then. I should have. Maybe I'll take that clip out and retroactively add some fire to it. That'd be fun, right? I should be able to do that. World of Links. Sorry, but Ubuntu is giving me some problems like the new fake Unity bar and the internet connection problems. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Life outside the windows. Why don't more people know about Linux? Why don't schools teach their students? Because the big software companies pays them not to teach their students. It'd be a whole lot better. Like if education was really about educating students, we wouldn't have excessively pricey textbooks. We wouldn't be forcing our students to buy online software packages, and we wouldn't be teaching them to exclusively use proprietary software. But all colleges for right now is just pushing people into a system because you're guaranteeing a ton of student loans that they can't get turned down for and that you have a guaranteed of, and that's why tuition rates keep going up. And I was doing this, and I'm doing all these calculations right now because, you know, co-host is getting to that age where, you know, he's starting to look at all this stuff, and he's like, look at this going, dude, it's going to cost like $90,000 to go to an in-state school. Like, just a public in-state school. Tuition rates, the wages for the low-level entry jobs have not gone up in 20 years. Not significantly. Maybe 3%. College tuition has more than doubled since I did my round in college. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, that's why don't more schools teach about it? Because it's a money game. It's all about a money game. Keep calm with Ubuntu Mate. Geesh, I lost my place again. Lost my place again. I'm just going to speed read some of these. James Covert, keep up the good work. Love the channel. Thank you, James. Appreciate that. So true, let's test Linux out on real applications. For example, yesterday I had to OCR 60 pages and was so lost. Yeah, there's I think it's OCR Feeder is what I have installed. You have to run it through the terminal. Like, you run it, start it in the terminal, it runs the GUI, but I can't get the system to run directly through the GUI. Kitson uses Thunderbird. I use Thunderbird. I use Thunderbird for the few email addresses that I do IMAP into. I use Evolution for the rest. I use Linux apps that work in real life, not just speculation. Speaking of that, Total OS today. By the way, my Nextcloud system is working again. I want to do a series of more in-depth Linux tools. Should we do these? And guys, let me know your comments. Should I focus on Nextcloud for a little bit first, or LibreOffice for a little bit first? And what types of things would you like to see? So those are some of the things. Let's see, someone filmed a video of me and named it Pizza Loving Nerd Exposed, and my friend took it down. Ooh, you were doxxed. Pizza Loving Nerd was doxxed. That's not good, man. That's not cool at all. Especially if you're young, man. If you're young on YouTube, you hide your face. You keep your face hidden until you know for a fact that you're an adult and you know for sure if you want it out there. Looking for alternative to Google Drive and Dropbox. I need at least 5 gig SSD. Pizza Loving Nerd, how big of a hosting plan do you have? Because Nextcloud does Google Drive and Dropbox functionality. Now I have mine. I've limited each of our user accounts to 1 gig, but that's something that I personally set. And I have it just on kind of on a small server. But if you have like a huge, like an unlimited type server, look into Nextcloud. Do a Nextcloud install. That would probably take care of your stuff. I can upload a file and send a public link out and just send it out to somebody, and it'll even expire after a certain period of time. Use LibreOffice in school and told them to deal with it. There you go. Yeah, Total OS Today has some t-shirts available. Check out his channel for details. I'm going to get some up eventually. Peter Drop says, I'm thinking about switching to Linux. Where should I start? Peter Drop, I would recommend starting on Linux Mint Cinnamon, or as Total OS Today will say, Ubuntu Mate. If you're using Ubuntu Mate, go with like the 16.04 release, not the 17. 17 seems to be buggy. But yeah, Linux Mint Cinnamon, Ubuntu Mate, those are the ones I would look at. Yeah, Thunderbird, and those who did not know, preparing for redesigning an interface. I took a survey for it. You should check it out. Greetings, Lance. Thunderbird is stable. Yes, Thunderbird is very stable. Brennan Brown, greetings. All right, let's go ahead and jump back over to the published comments. All right. So this was interesting here. I wanted to comment a little bit on what Serge says here as well. Serge has a lot of great tips and advice. He always sends my viewers links for things to help them out, answers questions far better than I do, and they always end up in spam. So my apologies, Serge. Your stuff keeps landing in spam. I got to go in there and just keep on pushing it out. But anyway, I think we have found a point of disagreement. He says, if eyeballs are everything, do you watch movies only watched by the highest number of persons? Do you only eat food that is eaten by the vast majority of people? I don't. Windows has the eyeballs for the desktop and has ads on its latest OS. Why did you leave it? Fortunately for me, Framsoft and France has done the same. We're going to stop right there for a second. All right. Now, this is what I commented to him on another point. But this is apples and oranges. We're not comparing the same thing. I'm talking about exposure to teach people about the channel and to find viewers of the channel. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the private use of an application. Like, you know, yes, more people use Google. Yes, more people use Windows. But that's not what we're talking about. That's not what I'm talking about on eyeballs. It is a different thing to say, what system am I using to do my work on, and where do I go to be found? Because my point stands. If I take these videos and I disperse them all over the internet, what's going to happen is the view count I have on YouTube is going to tank. If that tanks, that decreases my my findability and my recommendations in the YouTube algorithm. So that completely hurts it, and then I have fewer viewers all over the place and less people. And this is why focus was my key point. When I'm talking about where am I going for channel exposure, we are going to the place where the eyeballs are. It is a fallacy to point that over to say, well, we're going to go ahead and apply the same thing to why switch off of Windows. Because here's the difference. Yes, Windows has ads on it, but they don't benefit me. But here's the thing, is that a lot of guys my age, we don't necessarily always want to see the ads, but you younger guys, you guys don't care seeing the ads. And in fact, co-host intentionally does not skip ads on videos most of the time to help support the creators that are making it, because he sees the value in the free platform where the creator gets paid by a company showing a product in front of an ad. It's a very legitimate business model. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about exposure to your channel. And the fact that if I run ads on my system, it means you guys don't have to pay or don't have to pay as much. And it's a good option. You know, I realize not everyone has it. So like Carbon Programmer would love to buy a t-shirt from Total OS today, but he doesn't. He doesn't have a budget. I've had some of my younger viewers like wanna you know, pay a lot. And it's like, no, don't. Just watch the videos. Let the ad play through. That helps me just as much as supporting. And that's the thing we're talking about. And so I mean, I think we have, and Serge has left the same comment on multiple different people's comments. So I think I touched a nerve there, but that's kind of okay there. For Christian video series, take a look at GodTube. It's actually on my list of things to look into a little bit more when I get there. Let's see what else we see here that's fascinating. Tom, if you diversify, you got to have other video sharing platforms to diversify too. And there are a number, and there are some that will indeed allow you to see those, you know, to get a little bit of ad revenue. But you know, again, it's a business decision, and it's not because I'm all about the money. It's that, yeah, I got to pay my bills, and that's kind of what the difference comes down and boils down into. All right, let's see. Long-term sanity. Yep. Funny you should mention Mint 17 and Kden Live. That's exactly why I was having issues. Didn't realize it was so many versions behind. Yes. No, Spider Eyes, if you grab the PPAs, actually I don't even know if you can get them anymore. But you can grab the PPAs, or you can install it a few other ways. Like you can get an app image and run it that way. that is actually how you'd want to install it. And even on 18, it's still the old version. It is. I'm pretty sure it is anyway. Thunderbird was better than Outlook Express in Windows 10 plus years ago. I actually like Thunderbird back in version 2. I don't like the new look of it. That's actually why I don't use it much. But I mean, I can say this for Thunderbird though. They changed with the way that people changed themselves. That is what they did. Does anyone know if it's possible or a good idea to update Mint 17 to 18 without losing all your files, or does it just overwrite the old installation? Spider Eyes, you will, of course, want to make a backup of your files in case that happens, but that's exactly what I did, and I did not have any problems at all. It will just update the core Linux files. Basically, you go from 17 up to 17.3, and then 17.3 to 18.0, and then you do subsession upgrades. It should take you less than an hour. You should not have a problem. Just make sure you do have a backup before you do it. But yeah, it should not overwrite anything. That's exactly what I did on my laptop without a problem. I don't know why the garden's name got selected and I can't unselect it. But garden, you are selected. Thunderbird is good. The code is a little bit bloated. Yes. And I don't even really notice it being super laggy personally. It's just that I use email both methods. And Thunderbird's the one I use for the IMAPI stuff, just because it's better for IMAPI stuff in my opinion. But Kyrie Holmes, greetings. Had to take care of some biz right when the stream was going live. All right, Kitty, no, the kitty found the Temptations. He's like, this stream is over. I want my Temptations. Kitty, back off. This is where's my kitty cam? Like, look at the kitty. He's just like, yeah, I want that. I want those Temptations. Here's kitty comments. We'll do that. Let me do that. See if he sees the Temptations again. He was going for him. Whoa. He's like, whoa. I want the Temptations. All the default Linux email clients are really good, simple, and fast. You must have never used Kmail. Kmail's kind of crazy. It works when you have it set up right. Ryan P. just found out this channel's a good one. Found it after searching Elementary Review. Watched yours, but used it anyway. Been stable for me. Awesome. Well, good, Ryan. Glad it works for you. Install Timeshift first in case you need to go back. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea, Brandon Brown. Hope Ubuntu 18.04 is released on Sunday. Going to do a lot of fast looks and reviews that day. Cool. There was one time when my parents were talking about a store in Colorado. The next time she used her phone, she saw ads for the same store. Creepy. Creepy. Yep. Oh, but it's all cognitive recognition. You just noticed the ads this time because you were talking about it. Yeah, we believe you, Facebook. We believe you. System back is another option. There you go. Okay. How to use encrypted drive for Mac, Windows, and Linux. Please make a video about it. I have never done it on Mac or Windows, actually. I can show you how to do that on Linux. In fact, I have videos about how to do that on Linux. Yeah, maybe I'll try and find them. But yeah, I've never done that on Mac or Windows. Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I have not actually seen a Joe Collins video show up in my feed in a while. I'm going to have to go over there and have a look at Joe Collins' channel, see what he's up to. Switch to Linux. The way you're holding this SSD made it look like it was a floppy disk. That's right, man. This guy here is my floppy disk. It's my floppy. Cat's like, can I have my Temptations now? What? Get off my desk. He's not allowed to have his back paws on the desk. That's his limitation on the desk. All right, By the way, I used Ubuntu because I'm a network engineering student. Most of the applications have their installation script optimized for. There you go. That works. Anna Rita, greetings. I'm still getting back. I'll get back down to your comments eventually. Blind, visually impaired, Linux, Chrome OS, Windows user watching you right now. Sadly, KDE does not work. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. I just assumed it might because it's a very up-to-date OS is my thought. Trying to get more people to switch over to Linux, even if alongside Windows. Not easy. Yeah, I think somebody else had the best idea. Start with cross-platform programs. Like install LibreOffice and learn to rely on LibreOffice more and more and Microsoft Office less and less. And then, because really, in reality, when you switch the operating systems, the only thing that really makes a difference is the applications you're using. So find those cross-platform applications and get used to using those. And then that'll actually help you make the transition better. Colleges are nothing more than anti-male Marxist feminist brainwashing centers. I'm going to go with no comment on that one for now, Reed. Agree. Excuse me. Okay. I'll buy land and build myself a house. No college for me. There you go. LibreOffice. Yes, do Nextcloud stuff. All right. So I got a couple of people saying I should do LibreOffice stuff. So I'm now just getting down to this. Should we talk about LibreOffice in full detail first or Nextcloud in full detail first? Okay, don't have a problem with switching folks to Linux. Most people can't tell the difference anyway, as long as they can surf the net. Yeah, that's true. LibreOffice, since LibreOffice is so popular. Okay, so we can do LibreOffice. So we'll do LibreOffice and then we'll get into some Nextcloud stuff. Antergos is closer to Arch Linux than Manjaro is. Yes. Think about using GI benefits and going to trade schools so I can still work with my hands but do something more enjoyable. It pays a lot more. Absolutely. Trade schools are completely underestimated and a very, very valuable part of society. I use the Life Outside the Windows, uses the Linux version of WPS. Excuse me, Office. Yep. Okay, tried Antergos Deepin. It was okay. It took 90 plus minutes to install. Wow. That's a lot. I get video reviewing Xtern OS. It's really a unique distro in development. Xtern OS. I'll write that down. Mom is running Linux Mint 18.3 and likes it. Good. Check out SSH VNC server on Raspberry Pi. I do it myself. Works beautifully for me. Okay, there you go. Yeah, that'd work too, I guess. So about LibreOffice at my school, I made a presentation with LibreOffice Impress, and it all worked. Had barely some problems, so I don't use Microsoft Office anymore. The funny thing is, World of Linux is I think it was last year. It was 2016. It was like November of 2016. And I was doing a presentation at the Chamber of Commerce, and there were 3 of us in line, and wouldn't you know it, we had the guy with the Surface Pro. I'm the cool guy with the Surface Pro. We had the MacBook Pro lady show up, a MacBook Pro lady, and I showed up with my Linux Mint Cinnamon. Had a projector in there. Guess what? Linux Mint Cinnamon was the only computer that we plugged right into the projector and did not have to tinker with it for 15 minutes to get it to actually display right. Running LibreOffice, the Libre Impress. I'm like, yep, there's your Surface, there's your MacBook. Yeah. You got to fight with all the system settings, get those to work. Mine didn't have to fight it at all. I plopped the computer down, plugged it in, and it was ready to go. It set up the presentation on the projector, and it set up, my presenter's screen on my laptop screen. It was just like, yeah, that's kind of cool. I have an allergy to blur. That's why I'm not using Deepin or Windows 10. New York passed the same net neutrality as Montana did. That's cool. Very good. Use ad blockers and crypto blockers like NoCoin, but when I watch this channel and some others, I remove the ad blockers. Yep. Yeah, I actually block all the Bitcoin miners out there. I think we should opt into adverts instead of opting out with ad blockers. I think that'd be a good idea. And there's some applications out there that are now moving in that direction to be able to do that. Good points. No one likes to lose thousands of dollars of revenue. Yep. Don't like the ads, so I subscribe to YouTube Red. There you go. Okay. I have Raspberry Pi, but can't use it because our outlets aren't grounded. The people who lived here before us plugged a bunch of stuff into one outlet and the wire overheated. Well, you don't necessarily, I mean, you don't need a grounded outlet. I mean, in fact, I'd have a hard time powering a Raspberry Pi with a grounded outlet. Many here are so young they have no idea about life, what the internet was. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it was better days. PC user, I'm not a Christian. Okay, that's cool. Greetings, Anarita. For you that are Christians, though, for anyone that came on late, I will be live streaming tomorrow on the Christian channel, Our Walk in Christ, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be talking about baptism. What do the various faiths teach? Alright. Does save you money instead of getting a subscription to OneDrive or something, because you can buy 64 gig USB for 30 bucks or less a month and still have a better deal than OneDrive. Yep. Dad didn't buy our first computer until 1999. Yep. What that's like without the net. Had a lot of time on my hands. Yeah, that's the thing. We did better things with our time too, wasn't it? Time for X-Files. All right, Total OS. We'll see ya. Bread is only good for idiots like Logan Paul and not people that use ad revenue. CJ is a smart cat, unlike his cyber cat girlfriend who spends most of her time under the bed for whatever reason, only comes out to eat and play with the daycare a little bit, and then under the bed she goes. Hey kitty, want to mile it? Play GK Smooth Kitty Kitty. Modeling for your girlfriend. First cable TV cost $6 a month in 1981. Wow. That was a lot back then. Cat wants attention. Yep. Bearwolf. Yawn. Sorry, Bearwolf. Keep thinking something else every time you see the words YouTube Red, something that is definitely not family friendly. What distro would be good on a Windows 98 computer? Peppermint OS. It comes with a 32-bit version. I'd probably stop looking right there. It's an Xbox controller. No, it is a Logitech F315 controller. That is for my Raspberry Pi. Is currently set up in a RetroPie. So after I'm done with a bunch of work, I'll stop and play a couple games over there. I haven't watched Journal. No, I haven't. I don't know. A couple weeks maybe. TSM says hit the like button, folks. Idea to have more in-depth reviews of Linux software is really good. Some guides or tutorials on YouTube are really outdated. Some more than 2 years old. Yeah. Especially Caden Live tutorials. Yeah, and I think I'll do some of those a little bit later down the road. But I've been doing a lot of the mail merging and databasing stuff on LibreOffice. So I think while it's fresh in my mind, I should do them. That way I can help myself out later when I remember. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is do that. And then after I'm done with that, I have some Nextcloud videos I want to push out soon too. I went through the absolutely annoyingly painful task of getting our Nextcloud install working so that it actually uses some of the MS Core fonts, which was actually a pain. And I have not found any information. Even now, I haven't found any information. I kind of guessed at a few little steps, made it happen, and now I can use Microsoft Core fonts on my Calibora install. And my dad were looking for Chromebooks for school, and we were talking about it, and I got YouTube ads for Chromebook. Yep. Don't talk within the presence of a microphone. That's for sure. Later, I was talking about a new mouse. Sure enough, I got ads for a new mouse. Didn't get a Google Chromebook or a mouse. I was just talking about it. Yeah, that's scary. Tom, build a home with a 3D printer? That'd be fun. Brick by brick. You know, I do have the coolest flash drive ever over here. Speaking of brick by brick. Oh yeah, there we are. Look at those Legos. That happens to be a 16 gigabyte USB hard drive. Or flash drive, I guess. So that's kind of funny. Yes, there are 3D printed houses that are real. Do you know I just gave you 3 likes? It seems like you can give an unlimited likes just by closing and reopening the video. Huh, that's cool. Uses cement instead of plastic. Aren't there sort of interconnected pods that are prefabricated you can buy? Yes. I've officially converted my wife to cinnamon and leave XFCE behind, which made me hurt a bit. But, okay, you know. See, but now you guys have 2 different desktop environments going. And they're both good. So I'd give Linux Lite a try. I'm really liking it. The whisker menu is really nice. How about wine? Nah, I don't drink. I want to play with Wine 3.0. I've actually heard you can get some better applications running on it. So, yeah, I have one video on Wine. Maybe I'll do a few more because even that one's pretty old. Virtual reality, we can disregard the others and choose our own. Yep. Linux question: what is the smallest distro you've ever seen? I think like Puppy Linux or Sparky. Oh, TinyCore is small. Actually, you know what? Think inside the box. How about Raspberry? Actually, no, I think that's still pretty big because that kind of gives you a full desktop. What part of Chinese culture? I think what I'm going to be talking about is I'm going to look into the cashless society part. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm an atheist, but after receiving a weird Christian booklet thing like 2 weeks ago, I've been interested in learning about religions. Well, Pizza Lovin' Nerd, check out my Christian channel because there is a lot of crazy, radical Christian guys. Some are good, some of them aren't. But check out my Our Walk in Christ channel. I do Bible studies every Wednesday, very in-depth studies about real sound systematic theology. And then I do just some other talking points here and there, and I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow night too. So, yeah, what's the Christian channel name? It is called Our Walk in Christ. Let me go ahead and pull it up for you. Gotta go back to the website. All right. So if you actually go to the Switch to Linux main homepage down here, this is my cooking channel, and this is my Christian channel here. So it's Our Walk in Christ. And so over here, this is the one I just did yesterday. And what I'm doing now is I'm actually taking my studies, which were like 40 minutes last time. I'm breaking them down into like 20, 30-minute lessons now instead, make them a little bit shorter. But then I do a lot of the in-depth studies, and then I'll talk about resources. So like this book is one of my favorite books ever. And then I have the series called The Daily Walk, where I just kind of take something for, 5 to 15 minutes, just chat about it. So you'll see that I have this. This is really in-depth scripture studies. And then this was one of my favorite pastors ever, passed away in late December. So I did a tribute video to him. Net neutrality, the American Christian. There you go. So there's playlists of those. These are, like I said, it's a small channel. But you can actually see the information over there. So here's the actual videos. So there are quite a bit of them. And pretty well done, actually. I do a lot of editing on these videos. Well, on the studies. I do a lot of editing on the studies. So that's kind of what that channel is. So I'll go ahead and post that in the thing now. You make a video on the summary of the Bible. Yes, Pizza Loving Nerd. I think I can manage a video on that. Maybe I'll do that on Friday. I try and do some off-topic thing on Friday. Maybe I'll try and do that on Friday if I get the time. You guys remember Mandrake Linux? No. I mean, I've heard of it. Oh, we have a vote for Nextcloud. Nextcloud gets some love. All right. I am going to do them both. It's just a matter of which one goes first. I probably am going to do the font one on Nextcloud first, and then I'll drop it into the middle of a series later. Okay, Pizza Love Nerd, please, no really, I can't believe you decided that, young man. Please give it more thought and then try praying and asking pastors of your local church. I mean, before I go and ask a pastor of a local church, I'd do a lot of your own personal study first. I find a whole lot more, like, we have like 80 plus churches in our town, and I wouldn't send people to most of them. I mean, it's hard to find a good, real good Bible-believing church these days. It really is. I would learn a little bit on your own first, learn a little bit of discernment, maybe talk to a couple pastors too. But, you know, I'll be honest with you, a good safe place to go is just watch some videos, watch some of the videos that I do. And I mean, just to give you a little bit of a brief testimony on that, if it helps you understand where I come from, I was not raised in any Christian or otherwise religious family. We were raised on you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, essentially. I went through college. I have numerous years of really advanced scientific training up to earning a doctorate, kind of for the fun of it. And, you know, I was a pretty hardcore scientist, and God got a hold of me. And so I do all of my Christian teaching from the perspective of a person who was not brought up in a lot of this stuff, and so I don't have a lot of the biases some people have in those respects. I base what my thinking is directly on what I've learned from the scriptures. So absolutely, get in there, read The Case for Christ. Yeah, I think that's a Lee Strobel book. I'm not a huge fan of Lee Strobel. If you really, Pizza Loving Nerd, if you're an analytical guy and you really want to read something and flip through some things, find a copy of Josh McDowell's book, The Evidence That Demands a Verdict. Or read his book called More Than a Carpenter. I like McDowell a lot better than I like Strobel. Strobel's not bad. It's just, it's too emotional for me. And if I know you, Pizza Loving Nerd, you are more analytical and less emotional. And so Josh McDowell might be the one you want to look at. His small book is called More Than a Carpenter, and his excellent book is called Evidence That Demands a Verdict. That's what I'd recommend. And, you know, and yeah, check out the stream or the channel too, if you want to learn a little bit more about it. And feel free to ask me questions too. You know, you can shoot me a PM. That's cool. I'll definitely send you a PM back. PC has a dip switch for processor speeds. Probably very old. Your library was helpful for 2000. Yeah. I had one of those. You flip the switch, and then the lights dim. And then, you know, everything catches back up. You know, you see the factory across the hillside start to willow up a puff of smoke. Yeah, I remember those computers. They were awesome. True nerd just having a Lego USB flash drive. Yep, indeed I am. Which scanner software do you recommend use with Linux? Actually, if you get an Epson all-in-one printer, every aspect of the Epsons seem to work with Linux right out of the box without a problem, including the scanner. That's what I would do. If you're looking for a scanner, that's actually what I would do. The Epsons work great. Brother, although the printers work great with Linux, the scanners don't always work great with Linux. Like, you have to install the proprietary drivers to make the scanners work. Last time I knew, so be aware of that. Alright, what browser? Oh, okay. What's so wrong with Windows? What I don't like about Windows is the fact that it has a ton of telemetry that you cannot turn off. And so Microsoft collects a lot of user data and then turns around and sells that user data to ad selling companies to sell you ads. That's what's wrong with Windows nowadays. If they never had the controversy about data collection, I would think Windows 10 is fine. I mean, I hate the UI. Like, I don't hate the UI. UI is better than Windows 8. But I would like Windows 10 if it wasn't for the telemetry. Uh-oh. Oh, no, he's just adjusting. Like this. Are we going to lose the kitty? Nope, he's just adjusting. Linux can't be serious about sound editing. No, there's a ton of sound editing stuff in Linux. Catholic school led me to many other options years ago. Punch in the face of a 70-year-old nun at 7 years of age changes perspective. Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know what? And this will probably make somebody mad out there for sure, but I do not hold that Roman Catholicism is consistent with the biblical view of Christianity. I mean, I will respect their position for who they are, but there are 7 sacraments you need to do in the Roman Catholic Church to be saved. And the Bible's very clear. We are saved by faith through grace. And there's a difference there, and so I'm sorry that you got that you got decked out by a muscle-bound penguin, but that's not Christian, unfortunately. TSM, Catholicism is, I don't know. All right. Ever have a priest hit you in the face with a crucifix during confirmation? Ooh. Be honest, it's hard to steer away from Windows. Yeah, but it's possible. It's hard to do a lot of things that are worthwhile in this life. Booklet thing was weird. Church 2 blocks away from my school was trying to scare students to convert. It started with this little guy making fun of Jesus, and a door fell on him and died. Sent to hell and waited 3,000 years until he was judged by Jesus. Pizza loving nerd, would you please PM me the title and the author? I want to look for that track. I want to see which one you're looking at. And by the way, I hate those tracks. They drive me crazy. There's a few little good uses for them, but those tracks make me cringe. In fact, me and co-host used to pick them up every once in a while to read them and actually make fun of them, because some of them are a hoot. Finding a church, yeah, like we found one. We were fortunate to find one that's just in our town here. It's so small, and we love it that way. It's just like, yeah. Case for Christ is on Netflix. Okay. Never mind the Bible. Bill Gates got more money than Jesus right now. Sorry, Gene. Ever hear the expression that God owns the cattle on 1,000 hills? God also owns the hills. Bill Gates may be a steward of all that money right now, but every bit of that is God's. And if God wants that money, he's going to take it from Bill Gates, and Bill Gates will become a greasy spot on the floor. Trying to get my girlfriend to use Linux. It's a hard sell. All right. They made the book into the movie. I'm going to have to... Okay, I'm going to have to watch that one now. Giving me all sorts of fun ideas. See you later, Noah. There aren't so many religions out there. Every religion says they are right, but what if they are all wrong? That's a good question, Alex. And that's why you need the degree of confirmation. But I think that's probably a better discussion for the other channel, for sure. But yeah, the fact of the matter is, though, is that what went into the Christian faith, the founding of the Bible, and the teaching theology is so far above and beyond what other faiths have mentioned. And that's why, if you're questioning that, Alex, have a flip through Josh McDowell's Evidence That Demands a Verdict, because that's exactly his point when he started the book. He was a law student, and he started the book to make a case against Christ, and he couldn't do it. At the end, he realized there's just so much. Wife and I just earned enough money to hire you to create a website for my daycare. We have 700. All right. Sounds good, Anna Rita. Let me know. For those that do not know, I am a professional web developer. And if you are looking for a website, go ahead and hit me up. Hit me up anywhere on YouTube's fine. I'll get in contact with you with my other business stuff. I was just told to get a Brother printer. Can't wait to get to work. It restarts non-stop when I try and print wirelessly, but I can print with the phone easy. Can't get to work. Huh. I don't know. That's interesting. Microsoft and Apple sell data. Pizza Loving Nerd can't spell. Neither can I. Difficult to install my Epson printer on elementary OS Loki, which is why I now use Linux Mint. My prideful essay at 15, 7 religions, the difference. Yay, I got an A+. 21 page, 3 per typed, handwritten. We were too poor to own a typewriter. Ballpoints not allowed, ink pen. Reading on Puppy Linux website. Puppy can remove malware from other computers. How? Maybe it comes with ClamAV. And Puppy is designed to be booted off of a USB drive. Make a video showing the privacy issues on Windows. If I had a Windows computer that was capable of recording video, I might. I have a little single core with 2 gigabytes of RAM, little desktop PC here, micro PC that I boot up if I need to walk a client through something on Windows 10. Hasn't even been booted up for 3 months. Ubuntu Christian Edition. Actually, on my one computer, I actually had at one point in time simultaneously the Ubuntu Christian Edition and the Ubuntu Satanic Edition installed. Which Satanic Edition's nothing more than Ubuntu with wallpapers and a theme. God is a magic man in the sky who created everything. You must follow his rules. You will burn and die and suffer in a place called hell, but he loves you. Not entirely true, but from an outsider's perspective, that actually is what a lot of people perceive. No problems there. I'm going to learn command line, install a command line only distro. Yeah, there you go. Watch Fireproof 2008. I've intentionally never watched Fireproof. I am not into that whole genre of Christian movies because most of them are just garbage, to be honest with you. Some of them are good, and I think Fireproof is one of the ones I heard was pretty good. But once Mel Gibson did The Passion of the Christ, he realized there's a demographic for movies of a Christian theme, and basically it's better to have these Christian-themed movies because, frankly, you don't have to do nearly the marketing budget. All you have to do is just do a press release to focus on the family, and you'll get all the free advertising you want. But unfortunately, most of them are just like look at the Exodus movie with Christian Bale. Dude, that movie was so far off of scripture. I was expecting Batman to swoop in and lay waste to Memphis. I mean, that was such a horrible movie from the biblical perspective. I mean, how in the world can this movie, which is supposed to be about the Exodus and Moses leading people out of the Exodus, how can they get Moses' son Gershom's name right when it is mentioned, I think, once in the Bible? And they leave out the entire fact that he, in the movie, leaves his staff with Gershom, his son, and moves with a sword to take over Egypt with a revolution? Guys, everything Moses did was with his staff. The movie was so garbage. Found a picture of the cover. Pizza, you are now a moderator. Most Windows users don't know or care about the privacy issues. That's it. That's it. How much do you charge to create a website? It really depends upon the website. Something that's very small, just a brochure type informational base, I usually do those under 1,000. Usually, 700 is usually the smallest. I'll go like 700 to 1,000. If you want like an e-commerce store, I'll go up, 12, 15, something more like that. And then if it's huge, has a lot of custom functionalities, there's more for that. It's kind of a thing I really need to see I really kind of need to see what the project is to know what the price is going to be. It's also a mess on Android, yeah. Cute cat. Yes. Look this way for Real Dipper Pines. Thank you for the sub, Mr. Real Dipper Pines. All right. Whoa. Telling you, recipe for chocolate chip cookies was a hit with the daycare kids. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing. I should hopefully be doing more of those. And after I get all the footage done, I'm actually going to be co-doing them with co-host who's going to run the camera for me. So we'll hopefully get better angles, better lighting on stuff as we do things. So that'll be a good thing to do. Take the time to watch Fireproof. It's worth it. All right, all right. Oh, I got page not found there, pizza. Chick track spoofs. You know what these are, pizza? These are okay. Which one? What's the title of the one you saw? Because I mean, what, hold on. There it is. I think that's it. Oh, hi there. Is that the one? So I need to read onto this a little bit more, pizza, but it looks like these are spoofs of the original Chick tracks, which are probably parodies going too far. It's kind of funny if a church is actually handing these out, though. Oh, Lord. I'm going to have to look into this a little bit further, man. I'm going to have to look into this a little bit further when we're done with the stream. Another bad movie that I don't go to see was Noah. Oh. Well, the funny thing is the director of Noah, he was actually an environmentalist, atheist, anti-theological guy. That was so horrible. We actually watched that for fun one day. I guess from their perspective, the Hebrews were slaves from Gotham City. Yep. To use open source software to build your website. I use usually... Well, I mean, I still do a lot of my stuff on Windows where I'm using Dreamweaver, just because the Windows computer is still there. It's my old Windows 7 computer that I've had for years. When I am traveling or not in the office, I actually do all of that stuff on Bluefish Editor. So yes and no, depends on where I'm at. Hi there. Okay. Now, okay, Pizza Lovin' Nerd, was this actually a church who handed these out to you? And if so, can you get me the name of that church? Where are you going? Where are you going, buddy? You want to go? Yeah, you can go. Actually, we're going to go ahead and feed the kitty now. We're going to wrap this up soon. We're going to feed the kitty now. This is the cutest part of the live stream, is feeding the kitty the Temptations. And then... I'm going to get more information from Pizza Lovin' Nerd on this, because if a church is handing this out, I'm going to send them a nasty letter, because they shouldn't be handing out tracks to kids with swear words in it. Because I'm looking at this Chick track here, and if this is the one you got, there's vulgarity in this. And I'm curious if a church actually handed that out to you. Oh, we got to do it for the camera this time, buddy. This way, camera. No, this way. No, turn your head this way. For the camera. There you go. Right here. That's it. Are the finger looking good? Okay, not the parodies. The parodies were not given out. If you still have it, look, because if you look at that site, which I'm not going to show on this stream, look at this. Look at all of the vulgarity inside of that. The link that you sent me. That is crazy. And I'm curious if it was the spoofs or if it was really, because this one really does have a door falling on a guy. I gotta know. I'm curious. Can you explain the Snap feature in Linux? So Snap is a package manager for Linux where they take all of the dependencies and package everything together. I'm gonna go back to my picture with the comments because the cat is gone. The cutest part is gone. You're back to ugly old me. All right. And so a Snap package where you take all the dependencies and all of the other stuff that's all wrapped inside of there. And you install that as one standalone application. So you can kind of, it's essentially the same way that an Android app works, where the Android app doesn't have to have other things installed. Everything is all self-contained. And so Snap allows you to install a variety of packages without having to worry about dependencies or anything else. Use any of the frameworks with web development. I usually use Bootstrap, which is from Twitter. Bootstrap's just a very nice, it's fairly lightweight framework, but it gives you all of the full mobile responsive stuff out of the box, which is kind of the pain in modern day stuff. But Bootstrap works really well. Yeah, I'm curious, Pizza, if it was the parodies or the original one. It did have curse words. Look at the back of that, Pizza. They usually have the church's name on the back. Tell me if that's actually handed out by a church or if it was somebody else. Because I feel a rant coming on for the Christian channel if that's the case. Holy moly. Then they give out chick tracks at St. Mary's. They give out chick tracks all over the place. Time by time, these change your settings. These programs are useless. Snap is to make a standard of Linux to install software. Yep. All right. Well, I'm going to actually save a copy of this thing from that Pizza handed me over, and I'm going to... I'm still curious who handed those out. See if there's a church's name on the back of that. Because, I mean, somebody's handing out tracts to kids with vulgarity in them. This is so... I am so disturbed by these right now. I'm just like, I don't even know. Well, I think it's about time to wrap this guy up. PM me with that info there if you can, because I'm genuinely curious. God is on vacation. It's been a long time. Yes, he is on vacation, but he is going to come back. Chick Publications. Chick. I'm going to have to dig into these a little bit further. So, all right. It's a censored version without the swear words. Are the swear words blocked out or are they changed? Pizza, let's continue this conversation off the camera so I can close out the stream. I'm going to send you a PM or something, and I want to get more information about this. I want to find out what exact version, what the wording is, and who is giving it out if I can, because that's actually kind of a disturbing thing. I'm curious just from what I see here. I want to know more about this. and I want to cause a ruckus if it's kind of crazy. All right. But anyway, I think we're going to wrap this one up from here. So thanks for watching, folks. Again, if you'd like to help support what I do at Switch to Linux, check out switchtolinux.com/support for all the ways you can currently help support us. Hey, Mark Yates, we are just wrapping this one up. It says, God will be back, and I say on a spaceship. I'm a science person. Well, we'll see who's right in the end. We'll see who's right on the end. All right, folks. Well, we're going to wrap this up. I'll stay in the chat room here for a few more minutes if we can get other information going back and forth on this this kind of troubling thing. But anyway, I'll catch you guys all later. Have yourselves a wonderful evening.